Our next session, Italy, Design, Innovation, and Passion on Wheels, presented by the Italian Trade Agency and the Consul of Italy, Detroit.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us today. I'm the Trade Commissioner, meaning I'm the Director of the Chicago office of the Italian Trade Agency. As you might have seen, we got the best booth in the show today. And before I start my remarks, I want to thank all of you for being here today, starting with the Consul of Italy, Allegra Baisterocchi, my colleague Leonardo Torini, who did a great job for the booth that we have back there, and our Italian friends Fabrizio and Franco is going to introduce you what Italy can do in the automotive section in Italy. Who are we? We are the government agency that aim to promote Made in Italy abroad. If you think about Italy, you may think about food, about wine, about fashion, about anything that comes up to your mind. But if you think of Italy, you have to concentrate also in manufacturing. Italy is a leading manufacturing country, and it's not a case that the title of our speech today is Creativity and Innovation in Italy, because we are a leading country in creativity and innovation. Automotive manufacturing sector in the USA is growing, has grown after the pandemic. So why are we here? We are here thanks to an intuition of the Consul of Italy, Allegra Baisterocchi. We have 5 offices in the US, 80 globally in the world. My office is responsible for the automotive section. We participate to many shows in the US. We recently went to the CES show last week in Vegas. We're going to be at the SEMA show and the APEX show in Vegas in November, but we're also coming back in Detroit for the battery show next year, and we go, of course, to Indianapolis for the performance racing industry show. What do? We bring Italian companies abroad. So we come here, we speak to people, we make contacts, and we see if there's opportunity for them to come, and we pay for them to come. That's what our job is. So my idea is that if the show is growing, this is our first step, but next year we might be participating with a more ambitious space and possibly bringing Italian companies over here. I think it is time for me to leave the floor to the Consul of Italy, Allegra Baisterocchi, but before I do that, I want to thank you once again for joining us, and especially Fabrizio and Franco. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the day. Allegra, the floor is yours.
Grazie. Buonasera. My name is Allegra Baisterocchi. I am the Consul of Italy in Detroit. I represent the Italian government here in Michigan. We're also responsible for 4 other states, which are Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. If I had Alabama as well, I'd have a full house of the top U.S. Automotive states. As we stand, though, we're sitting in the auto show. I'm really grateful for Marco Verna. Thank you so much to our Trade Commission in Chicago, responsible territorially for Michigan, but also sectorally for automotive, for involving us in today's discussion. And thanks to all of you for beating the weather and coming to see us. Before I start any sort of speech, I always like to do a little session called Did You Know? Because a lot of the times, I've been here 3.5 years, the reality is you didn't know. So I always get told, oh, Italy has the best food. Yes, but did you know that the value add of the agri-food business is 3 times that of the automotive industry of France and Spain, or 3 times that of the aerospace of France, Germany, and the UK? Italy is great at fashion, sure. We are the 3rd producer of total value add generated in the European fashion sector, and out of the top 100 luxury brands, 24 of those are Italian. Few interesting facts about Italy. We are the 8th economy in the world. We are the 5th manufacturer in the world. Lombardy, one of the regions that we have in Italy, which has the capital in Milan, is actually considered the leading manufacturing region of all of Europe. We are the first country in Europe for investment of our companies in R&D. We are the first producer of pharmaceuticals. We produce over 50% of the world's super yachts, over 80% of all cruise ships, all things that people didn't necessarily know. We are the third in the world for space specialization technologies. And we are, for machinery, which is Italy's top export, the fifth largest machinery exporter worldwide. My little Italy. And I say my little Italy because Italy is only 20% bigger than Michigan, and we represent only 0.2% of the world's landmass. So my little Italy does great things. But we're in the auto show, and we want to talk about the great things that Italy does for the global automotive industry. Italy is the 9th largest automotive exporter and the 6th largest industrial robot exporter. We produce every year over 800,000 vehicles annually. The automotive sector employs 270,000 people and contributes 93 billion euros annually to our economy. But on top of that, did you know that every single electric vehicle sold in the US, 85% of those have a semiconductor that we know is not only Italian, but we can trace it back to the factory in Sicily? Or that 90% of those electric vehicles actually have rotors and stators that are also made by an Italian company called Eurogruppo, by the way. STM Microelectronics was a semiconductor company, in case you want to check. Italy gets tasked all the time by the most advanced car makers in the world to give their expertise on braking systems, interior design, lightweight materials, and trust Italy to make these things also sexy, with Brembo actually getting 2 design awards for their calipers. As a consul, I said I sit in Michigan. I'm responsible for these 5 states. With my poker of automotive states, I can tell you I come from a vantage point that I can say I see so much untapped potential for Italy here, and I call upon all of you to be part of a transition, to look at Italy more. Case in point. Italy and Michigan, we are the 7th trade partner of Michigan, the 2nd amongst the European countries, and we trade over 3.5 billion every year, and every year it grows. In 2023, Michigan imported 2.2 billion of automotive, but out of 108 billion that Michigan imported worldwide. Now you see why we only imported 2.2 billion. We can do a lot better, and I hope that all of you help us in this endeavor. I think it is especially important when we're transitioning to sustainable mobility, in which Italy is very strong in, and think of us as an ally for Michigan, for the automotive industry, especially in the face of international uncertainty. So the topic of today, I was asked, what do you equate Italy with in the automotive sector? And I said, design, innovation, and passion. So we tried to put together a panel that brought together exactly those things. Design, because, let's be frank, Italian design is the best. And from our iconic Ferraris to sharp edges of Lamborghinis, our design is basically rooted in our artistic, cultural heritage. And obviously, we have a craftsmanship that gets passed down in generations. I've asked CEO Fabrizio Mina from Italdesign to join us today. I'm sure all of you have read Cranes and how Italdesign is actually investing 20 million in the local economy, creating jobs. And so I think that it's very interesting to hear his vantage point today. In case you don't know Italdesign as a company, I can just tell you 2 of my favorite Italdesign designed cars. One is the 2003 Lamborghini Gallardo, which I have to say is the best-selling, most successful Lamborghini of all time. But also, and I'm an 80s baby, the 1981 DeLorean, which is from Back to the Future fame. So grazie Fabrizio for joining us.
Thank you.
And then we have innovation, pushing boundaries, because one of the things that Italy is known for is our innovation, which goes beyond aesthetics. So from pioneering advancement in aerodynamics to embracing cutting-edge hybrid and electric technologies, Italian automakers are at the forefront of shaping the future of mobility. And asked another dear friend, Franco Bevione, CEO of WeDo USA, to come and join us. In the era of the Internet of Things, the IoT, having a company like WeDo, especially having one that is also based here, not just in Italy, is truly outstanding. They specialize in all things AR, VR. They do the configurators of many of the brands that you will see on show today. They do the HMI, which for those who don't know is the human-machine interface. I had to ask because I didn't know. And basically when you're sitting in your car, everything you see in the dash is for some cars produced by them, and that goes from the light and the heavyweight Ivecos to the more fancy cars that I mentioned before, and anything in between. So thank you, Franco, for joining us. I have a special love for Franco also because we do, and the Consulate of Italy together already collaborated, and we created the first metaverse of a public entity of any country in the world. So we had a world first. This was 3 years ago. We've since had 3 iterations of this metaverse. We even won the first metaverse awards that were ever given. So thank you, Franco. And the third point we are going to talk about today is passion, because obviously we are very passionate about everything we do, not just in the hand gestures. But we were actually supposed to have the CEO of Dallara USA come and join us, Stefano De Ponti from Indiana. He had a bit of a hiccup coming up. The reason why I wanted Stefano to come and talk to us because I can't think of anything more passionate than racing, and I love the story of how an Italian company started producing the chassis for 1 Indy 500 team, and then 2, and then 3, and now they have basically the monopoly for all chassis of all the Indy 500, all the Indy Light, and also for NASCAR coming up. But I'm sure our 2 panelists, plus Marco Verna, will be able to talk about passion in all the things that they say. And looking ahead at the future of mobility, obviously we can say the future of mobility is defined by design, by technology, by sustainability. Italy is committed to leading in the transformation with innovations in hydrogen-powered engines, AI-driven vehicle systems, new concepts. So I call upon all of you to really think of Italy as a partner to explore our rich heritage and groundbreaking achievements. I ask all of you then to ask us questions after our panelists will be giving introductions. I really would like people to come up. There's a microphone, as I was told, to remind people in the center. Please do ask us questions, and let's continue to innovate and collaborate together. So I would say, Mr. Mina, over to you.
Thank you, Allegra. Thanks for inviting me today. It's really a pleasure being with you here and with Franco and Marco. So Itadesign opened the company just last year. So we decided to invest here in US because it's the biggest market, as you can understand, for the automotive. And also, we are not only designing cars, but then also we are designing everything that you can imagine in the industrial area. For example, here we are in US. Who designed the basketball ball for the NBA? We designed. And then we had a young LeBron James testing the basketball ball. And then NBA, they changed the rules for approving this ball. Or we designed, for example, everybody knows the Nikon camera. So this is in the industrial side. For the cars, I think almost everybody here has draw some cars that we design or engineer, because we are not only designing cars, we are also engineering and producing. We have a VIN number, so few people here in the US, they know really what we do. This is the reason why we moved here, because we have some newcomers saying, we love to work with you, but then you are too far. So someone that was, some customer of us was on the West Coast, and then, working with the 9-hour differences challenge. This is the reason why we opened the company here. We love it here in Michigan, because then we can find exactly what we need for the skills, for the high-tech suppliers that we can find here. So it's a pleasure really investing here in Michigan.
Franco?
First of all, thank you to Marco and Allegra for having me here today. I'm really honored and proud to represent from my little window what is Italy, what is innovation for Italy. Let me talk about the company. We are called WeDo. We were born in Torino 25 years ago, more or less, in 1999. And since from that time to today, we came up with an idea that was we can use CAD files. Probably all of you know what is a CAD file that is normally used for designing a vehicle, a product, whatever. At that time was used only for producing the product. At that time we thought that that same file could have been used to create images. So visualize the product before the product was ready. And that's how we started. We were in Torino, so I'm also very glad that I lived part of my life in Torino, the rest of my life in Detroit, two cities that have so many common points together. I live in Michigan from 8 years now. And at the time, you remember in 1999, internet was a different thing than what is today. But we came up with the idea of talking to design centers like Italdesign, Bertone, Giugiaro, others very famous in the Turin area, also the automotive, Fiat mainly, and asking them to give us the file to start creating visual images, still images at the time of the cars. That's, in a nutshell, our story, but I would like to show you what we've done in the middle of these 25 years and what we are today, and then showing you the best of breed, the top of class of what we're doing. So I would ask for the video that in 1.5 minutes should show you some images of what we do.
What we do.
We do. All the images that you have seen so far, nothing was real. Everything was coming from a digital file. We started doing that, as I said, at the beginning of the 2000. In 2001, we made our first digital configurator online on internet for Fiat. It was a Fiat Stilo, a brand, a model that probably here is not very well known. And at the time, we made the car in 3 different positions, what we call camera angles. And it was possible to change color, to change rims, and to do a very basic configuration of the car itself. After that, we started working for different brands, and long story short, in 10 years, we were managing all the Fiat products, Fiat, Alfa Romeo, and Lancia around the world. In 2015, that's when we came to the United States. At the time was the time when Alfa Romeo was coming back to the US after a long time of absence. And since we know the product very well, we came here to take care of the configurator of Alfa Romeo. After that, we've been lucky, and I hope good too, that we started working also for the other brands. Today, we're managing all the Stellantis brands, so Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Cadillac, Chrysler, and Alfa Romeo. And whatever you see online when you want to buy a car and you go, let's say, on the Jeep.com website and you start looking for your Wrangler, changing colors, trims, etc., that's what we do, that's what we create on a day-by-day basis. Very important is that we work on those 2 sides of things. One is the visualization of the product, and on the other side is the data. So we build up platforms for managing the product logic, for being able to say what kind of wheel is mounting on a certain kind of trim, and then being able to visualize it in what we call product correct way. Parallelly to that, since we are working around the car, but now also into the car, we started working with what Allegra introduced before, the HMI, the human-machine interaction. We have in our company user experience designers, user interface designer, and we work with many fancy brands in concept design. Ferrari probably is the best of them. But even if it's less fancy, what I like to underline is that all the products for Iveco, that is a very famous truck brand of trucks in Europe, all the vehicles now that are in production and sold, electric or combustion vehicles, all the interface that you find inside those vehicles is made concept designed by us. We are very proud of that because, for example, Ferrari, Lamborghini, they are very fancy cars, but you don't live in that car all your day. In a truck, the truck driver...
I would if it was mine, but yes.
But in a truck, the truck driver, he works, he lives 8 to 10 hours in that vehicle. So the user interaction that he has with the dashboard and everything is very important, so we're very proud of that. I don't want to bore you anymore with words. I would like to show you one more video. This is what I said before, I think is the best of breed of what we do today. Is a vehicle that you can see on the other side of the show. We started working on that 1 year ago, more or less. The car was not ready yet. I'm talking about the Charger Daytona, the electric one. We created the visualization of the car starting from the design, from the CAD files, when the car was not ready yet. We had a lot of interaction with the design center of Stellantis. We worked with the designers, and we created what they had in their mind, giving the chance to a potential buyer to play with the car, to test every different option was possible. I show you the video in 1 minute, you have an idea of what we've done. It was on the website of Dodge until 1 week ago for 3-4 months, and now they just disconnected because they're selling the car. So now you can see the real one. If you can send the other video. Okay, I hope this gives you an idea of where we can go with technology. What you have seen here was on the website of Dodge, and it was completely interactive, as you have seen. It was working in the same way, the same quality on your mobile phone. And the technology we're using are the same that are used in the video game industry for games like Fortnite or something that you've heard about. We're using Unreal, Unity, this kind of real-time engines. And this is the same technology we used for the Consulate of Detroit 3 years ago as a pioneering project for the Love Detroit exhibition.
Cool. Grazie, ragazzi. Based on what has been said so far, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that every car has something Italian in it, whether it be design, whether it be the human interaction inside, whether it be the configurators, et cetera. We already said the rotors and the stators and the semiconductors, so we've got most things covered. I'm going to start asking some questions, but do feel free to raise your hand and ask some of your own, because I would like this to be interactive. But to break the ice, I'm going to ask a question on design, so it's aimed at Fabrizio, but Franco, don't feel shy. Italy has a history of creating iconic cars that are much about art as they are about engineering. What role does cultural heritage play in influencing the design of Italian vehicles today?
So let's say that the Italian heritage is really the cornerstone of all the Italian automotive designers. It's really important being, let me say, Italian, because then from the Renaissance was really great, thinking about the shapes, the beauty, the art. And then in the beginning of the century in Italy, we started with the craftsmanship, with the coach builder. And then also we added the design. We have 3 factories in Italy where we have this coach builder of the 19th century that is almost impossible to find today. Thanks to them, we can also build cars that are really full of beauties and full of passion, because then are built by hand. And then today, the challenge that we have, then we needed to continue with the Italian heritage, is continuing merging the sustainability with the high tech and the beauty, because at the end of the day, this is what the end customers they're asking for. They're asking for high tech combined with beauty.
So over to Franco. WeDo emphasizes designing smooth digital experiences by studying natural interactions with technology. So based off of also what Fabrizio said, how does this philosophy influence the integration of digital interface within modern vehicles? What impact does it have on the driver, on the passenger experience? Can you get into that?
Yeah. Let me tell you, I try to answer thinking of what I've just done before. I went around in the auto show on the other side of the building, and I found my first car that I had when I was younger, my first driving license, I was 18. It was a Fiat 500, the Fiat 500, and there is the real one from the 60s, my one from 1988. And was the same color, by the way. And I'm saying that because, according to what you asked me, if you go in that car, there was a guy there explaining me the new car, the new Fiat 500 electric that is beautiful, and the old one. And I said, you know that the old one that I know pretty well, to turn it on, you have 2 levers close to the handbrake. And one is the choke, one is the ignition. And after you turn the key, you can turn it on. I didn't know that. What is that? So I show him where it was. And who knows the car know that the interface, the interaction with the car is pretty basic.
Mamma mia.
It's beautiful,
I remember
but it's pretty basic.
Oh, yeah.
And then I tried 1 month ago the Fiat 500 of a friend of mine that works in Stellantis. He came to our office. We went out, and he told me, jump in the car, pull it out, and you try it. Okay. So I was waiting outside the car. I went in, and I started clicking the button, and I was not able to turn it on. And so I had to go out of the car and say, listen, I don't know what to do. The car is already on. Oh, come on, yeah, because it's electric. So I said, yeah, but the car is not telling me anything. So long story short, I don't want to bore you with that, but the message is this. You can have all the technology that you want, but obviously you always need to interact with the piece of product that you have in front of you. So the interface, the experience, it's paramount to the process. And the Fiat 500 electric for me was a good example. So I think that everybody here has experienced a bad experience with one car or another that is not able to find the button or is not able to find the menu where that specific function is. So I'm not saying that we have solved the problem, but we're working on that every day. So we're trying to find solutions that try to help on that. And I think that you, Fabrizio, and Ital Design are doing the same, even at a higher level.
Yes, so I don't know if you know, but then we are part of the Audi group. And basically all the Q models we design engineered. And then again, the challenge today, not only the group, but then from all the OEMs, is understanding what is the right level of a human interface. So UX, UI, what do you say, UX, UI? Because then there is a trend now for really digital detox. Today, what we see, because then now we are designing also engineering the cars for the futures, the cars that will be on the market 3 or 4 years from now. Today, what we see, there is too much cloudiness for the digital point of view. We need to come back thinking that the human being is the one that is inside the car, and then we need not to have too much information, because at the end of the day, we are just inside the car.
I have a question for Marco as well.
Thank you.
Our trade agency, as he explained earlier, is helping Italian companies to come over to the US, whether it be to trade or some of them also to then invest and be present physically. Do you see, Fabrizio talked about trends. Do you see trends within these companies? Who's coming over? Who wants to be here?
Many new companies are coming over to the US. As I said before, you don't have to think about Italy as the traditional fashion and food. We are a leading country in new technologies. We are a leading country. I used to make a joke. I give classes to university in Chicago, and I used to make jokes with the students, and I say, look, search into your pocket. I bet you have something Italian in your pocket. And I say, no, I have nothing Italian in my pocket. Take out your phone, take out your mobile phone. And if you take your mobile phone, you see that the telephone has been invented by an Italian. No matter what you think, it's been invented by Antonio Meucci. I'm sorry about that. The radio was invented by an Italian. Yeah. The plastic was invented by an Italian. The battery was invented by an Italian. The microchip was invented by an Italian. And the MP3 system was invented as well by an Italian. So you have at least 6 Italian things in your pocket. That means that no matter how big Italy is, it is still the cradle of innovation and creativity. And after all, we are the grandson of Leo da Vinci. So to answer your question, any kind of new companies are coming to the US. We've been to the CES show last week, and we brought 50 startups. So students, new generations with brand new ideas are coming to the US. Technology, innovation, resiliency, green economy, that's what we're working on. We need to change. We as a government, we need to be modern, faster, because the world is changing very fast, and we need to be updated.
Absolutely. On top of that, we talked about startups. We, as a consulate, actually were very fortunate. We did a contest back in Italy for startups, and we brought them over here to Detroit as a prize, right? 600 startups in Italy. They were whittled down to 24, and then to 10, and to 3, and the 3 winners came here. And they were here in September. We put them in front of investors, partners, companies, and 2 of the 3 have gone on to contracts, which shows how there is an appetite for Italy. There's also the importance of ally shoring, as our joint president and prime ministers have mentioned more and more times. In times of uncertainty, look to the friendly countries that also have the amazing technology. If there's no questions, I'm going to pass it back to Fabrizio to say, we talked about, Marco also talked about sustainability. Yeah. And in looking forward, both under sustainability and functionality, how can design help bring those to the forefront? Because that is what consumers ultimately want now, no?
Sure. So sustainability is really one of the biggest items that we are discussing internally today. We are investing a lot of our revenues in research and development. We brought to life, for example, last week we were at CES showing our show car. And then on our show,
the Lieutenant Governor has a special love for Italdesign, as we saw from his posts.
Yeah, it was really great being there. So our car was nominated one of the best cars of the CES. And on our car, you can see new materials, like, for example, we had a linen fiber that we are using instead of carbon fiber that we developed. We are collaborating with Nike Grind, and then with them we are using reused material from the gym shoes, and then we are using this material for the floor of the car.
Oh, cool.
Then you know that we are Italians, so then there is a company that is close to Carrara for the marble, and then we developed together a fiber that is based on marble powder. And we use all this material inside the car where there's the dash, so we can retro-illuminate the car.
Oh, wow.
So having said that, today all the designers are really thinking about what can we do for the sustainability together with the high tech. This is really paramount.
I want to see the marble retro.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So there were many potential customers that they just said, wow, and it's good. So
feel free. I lived, we're in the Renaissance Center. Italdesign is now here.
Yeah, I know.
The consulate needs a new car. Just saying.
No, yeah. And then there was someone just saying, okay, can we really, because the Quintessenza, that is the name of the car, is just a show car. Will be never brought to life. But then there were a lot of people saying, can we build this car? I said, okay, if you have some millions, we can do that. It was really nice.
Grazie. Back to Franco. So, talking about adapting to electrical vehicle trends, which is obviously a big deal globally. So as the automotive industry shifts towards electric vehicles, how is WeDo leveraging its digital innovation capabilities to address the unique challenges, but also opportunities presented in the transition?
Yes, we're investing a lot internally in all what is, again, the HMI for electric vehicles and the new autonomous vehicles too, because as you all know, in those vehicles, first of all, the screens that we have available are very big. They need a lot of content. They need a lot of user experience design and user interface design, and they control so many things. Last week I was around the car of a friend. It was a Rivian, and he was inside the house. Then he came out and he said, "Let me show you what you were doing. How can I see it?" So he opened the car. The car has 12 cameras. He showed me that the car was recording what I was doing around it, and all these things. Obviously, they need software, they need interfaces, they need menus, they need design behind them, and that's a lot of work for us, and also in terms of needs of resources. In fact, we're trying to collaborate with centers that are producing new, fresh minds for doing the job. Then you have to apply to a new market. So it's a big challenging environment that we like, because again, we are really in the innovation. We're always been on the front end of every new technology coming to the market.
And if you don't have a challenge, then you don't have something
exactly.
new to strive for.
You don't have innovation if you don't have a challenge, and if the technology is already full in production, it's not so much innovation anymore. So we're always there, and electric for sure is one sector. The other one is autonomous vehicle, where you have seen that is not only creating new interfaces, it's really working with design centers like Italdesign and others to understand what's going to come next. Because when I have a car where I don't need the wheel, I don't need to stay front towards the road, toward the direction I'm going, I can rethink the space in a completely different way. So there are many projects we are working in parallel with big designers for redesigning the space that you live inside the car, where probably you're sitting on like in a room front to each other, where the entire vehicle becomes a screen or becomes a camera towards the outside. So there are many things we're working on. Some of them more on a research level, some of them more closer to production. But yeah, big thing.
Talking about EV, and we touched upon sustainability, did you know, because we're going to add a few of those as well, did you know that Italy has the highest recycling rate of all European countries for urban waste? Did you know that we are the first circular economy amongst the most industrialized European nations? I think that people don't necessarily think of Italy in all of these terms, but I ask all of you to look up some things and come by afterwards to the ITA desk, ask us some questions. Ask some questions now, otherwise we'll keep doing this by ourselves. Anybody? No, we'll keep doing it. Okay, so we talked about passion. I'm going to turn over the question for both of you. How does your company ensure that we are able to input passion into vehicles that resonate not only emotionally with drivers and enthusiasts, but also then allow for great performance?
Can start. So, as you know, so you were talking about the fact that when that we are Italian and we have a lot of passion, we move the hands, etc. But then I just give you an example that we are known as Italians in the world for the ideas, for the really innovation. We are doing a project right now, for example, with a company in Japan. It's a leading company in UX UI, but they need some innovation, something different. Also because then many customers maybe are in Asia, or someone is in Europe, or someone is based only just in the US. They need a European touch, an Italian touch that we can help them to positioning the vehicle in a different way. I was discussing today, for example, with a customer saying, okay, this is a great vehicle. I said, yes, is beautiful here, but then you cannot drive in Italy. It's too big. So again, each vehicle, whatever is a vehicle that is in Japan, that is in China, Europe, here, depends where you need to position it, and then also who is the driver. So it's really important bringing the innovation to the table. There's some touch that we as Italian, we are known for that.
Franco, some
Yeah.
passion on your end?
Yeah, I want to connect to what Fabrizio is saying because I always see the good and bad. I consider myself a little Michigander now after not so many years, but I love to say that I'm here.
Michigander. I'm American.
And I know it's the same
I'm
for him.
American.
Yeah. I'm in the process. I'm not American yet, but I'm getting close. And I always see the good and bad of both sides. Our company, for example, here in US, I'm the only Italian in the company. All my colleagues are all Americans. But we work on a day-by-day basis with another team that is based in Europe, mainly in Torino and in the area. And it's nice because both the team have great passion for the work we do, and they try to put the best. But then obviously there is always good and bad in both. For example, in Italy for sure, we're great with ideas, beauty, that particular sensitivity for the details, etc. But we need somebody that organize the work and do it well, etc. And that's perfect when we are able to make the two team works together. What we are trying to answer into your question, what we're really trying to do when we do visualization is to bring on the car that kind of flavor that sometimes is not even real because it's too much. What you do on a booth where you put the lights and you try to create that particular emotional effect that the car needs to make you emotional. Sometimes, and that's what happens, for example, on our work with the Tier 3 here in US, very often they populate their website of cars that they're trying to sell with photos taken with the snow on them or dirty or stuff like that. The buyer is not buying that, and the buyer is, for a part of it, emotional. So that's what we're trying to do in helping the process and put in our passion. And then many other things, but we don't have enough time to talk all about that.
I'm going to do a last call. Anybody have any questions that they want to ask? Yes, we do. Bravo.
Grazie.
So you both mentioned CES, and there were very interesting things that we have seen there. I was not there, but I've seen a few representations. For instance, Jensen from NVIDIA went on stage talking a lot about Omniverse. And to that point, my question is, how much is about technology? Is the technology there? I believe so, but I want to hear your answer. And how much is about ingenuity and creativity and really making the technology work? So,
good question. You want me to start?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in a meeting with NVIDIA before coming here to the show, in the parking lot of the auto show, and we are working with them from a while. They are a great company, super innovative. The tool that they created is great. They started doing long time ago graphic cards for supporting that kind of graphic that we were seeing in the video that I show you. But then they grew up. Today they have artificial intelligence. They have Omniverse, that is a platform for creating graphic images. They have a network like AWS, Amazon, or Google, or Azure for cloud networking, for doing that kind of work and supporting AI and so on. And at the end of the story, they have a tool. That is a great tool, one of the best at the moment. In fact, every OEM on the market acquired the tool. But then fortunately for us, we still have to do the job because, again, you have a new hammer, it's the best hammer in the world, but if you don't have the guy that is hitting the nail, you don't know how to use it. So yes, the tool helps a lot. The thing that you've seen before, we're able to do that now because there is Unreal from Epic Software. That is an engine that 5 years ago didn't exist. There will be others in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, like NVIDIA. NVIDIA now is one of the best platforms, not only single tool. And in fact, that's one of the reasons we're collaborating together. I cannot say that yet, but we're trying to be present together for showing something new in the AI department. But again, it's a very good tool, and fortunately, we're still the
hammer.
working guy with the hammer. Yeah.
Fabrizio, do you want to say a few things?
No, I just want to add that I agree with you. So a tool is a tool, but at the end of the day, for UX UI, you need someone developing the human interface, and they are not good for that. They're good for the tools. They're good for everything that we know about NVIDIA, but then for the design point of view and the UX UI, you need different skills. We are there for that.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
We chose design, innovation, and passion. Quickly, do we have to add any words to what Italy is in automotive?
Italy is, let me say, is the best in the automotive because we have the best cars.
I think that you caught all the great words for representing Italy and automotive, so passion, innovation, and design. And yes, the only thing I can add is this twin, Torino and Detroit, that for me is a great thing. Fabrizio is from Torino too, so I can say it, and that's something I love.
Grazie to our trade
Well, I can say
agency,
that
Marco.
Italy in the automotive section is yesterday. If you think about the old cars, old-fashioned cars, if you think about the movie Roman Holidays and Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn running around Rome with the Vespa, Italy in the automotive is today. Had you been to the CES show, you would have seen the Maserati MC20 Cielo autonomous drive car that we brought and Italy in the automotive is tomorrow as well. So there's an Italian song that says, O Sole Mio. The English version is, it's now or never. Do work together, Italian companies and American companies.
Fantastico. Grazie to our panelists. Grazie, Marco.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.